of God's creation can do. And we do know that this economic tsunami is coming, so we've got to, chop wood and carry water, and we got to get to the high ground. So what does a smart person do to get to the high ground? And I know you talk about this all the time. First thing, you got to have a passport. Everybody who's listening here, get yourself a valid passport. Number two, get yourself out of debt. Get the ceiling on desires, cut your spending, and be more efficient. Number three, put at least 15% of your reserves in gold and silver bullion. Take care of yourself. Gold and silver have been a medium of exchange forever and ever and ever. Number four, you got to take care of that body. Start a vegetable garden. It's really a lot of fun. Make sure that you and your family have at least a month, if not 2 months, food supply in your pantry. It's not a big deal, but take care of yourself. Number four, eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Don't drink fluoridated water. Get your exercise every day. This is so important. Get outside and get that vitamin D and get out in nature. Go down to the Barton Creek Greenbelt and spend some time. Number five, probably, create community. There's a heck of a lot more people out there who are feeling the same way you are about what's going on than you may realize. And as you drop, as Jesus said, separate the wheat from the chaff. There's a lot of people who just aren't going to get this stuff. And you know what? Some of my friends, I love them, and God love them. They're going to go their own way. But I have created so many more new and vibrant friends who are aware of this stuff and who believe in America and who believe in the Republic and who believe in God. So create community. Then make sure that every day in your own way, whatever way you do it, pray and meditate. Pray and meditate. The attitude of gratitude. And finally...
Yeah, slow down. Get out of the media mind control.
Absolutely.
Because they get us racing so fast all the time, we can't just calm down and look at how we've been slowly brought through these levels into this deep tyranny.
And, one of the things I know Alex about better than most of the people down here, and a lot of people see Alex the tough guy, and he is tough, I'll tell you what.
Oh, let's not talk about me.
I'll tell you what, Alex is doing this because he has a deep and abiding connection with the highest creator, the grand organized design. And that's why he's not here to make a bunch of money. He's not here, we all have our egos, but his basic thing is because he believes in the goodness in man. And the last thing, and the most important thing is, this is a great time to be alive. Wow, what an incredible time to be in body. All these things that are happening. And if you're afraid, and if you're in fear-based consciousness, these rascals, these vampires, these people who sow fear are going to make you shrivel right up.
Gordon Brown, the puppet of England, has stepped down. Now they're debating the new puppet that's going to be in power because the parliament is hung. Angela Merkel has lost most of her seat. She's on the verge of being brought down. But still, they do what the bankers tell them. We're not just going to give the private bankers $150 billion. It's going to be $1 trillion, maybe more. Nicolas Sarkozy almost lost control. He's backed off the carbon taxes, but he just rushes ahead without the global tax, just with a new tax where they just say $1 trillion is the private bankers. This is the global criminal consolidation of the economy. Max Kaiser, amazing info last hour, breaking down that was a Goldman Sachs government-run false flag attack last week to kill legislation in Congress to break up the too big to fail. They now admit it wasn't the fat finger, it wasn't a mistake, but they're not going to investigate. That was a staged event. We talked about the computer systems they used to do it. Such incredible info. I want to go to your calls. We're going to get into a bunch of other issues here with George Humphrey, economist, good friend of mine, author, former Austin City Council member, who predicted this all with absolute precision 12 years ago in his book Common Sense, and the audio CD set that, by the way, we carry at Infowars.com, laying out derivatives that were designed to destroy the economy and consolidate power. But right now, we're going to go to your calls and then get into some other issues dealing with the psychology of the globalist. And a great analogy George was telling me during the break about, vampires. Is basically, that's the archetype we're dealing with, not real vampires, but the real vampires of, the psychic and economic vampires, not the fake Count Dracula vampires. Let's go ahead and talk to Josh in Colorado. Josh, you're on the air. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. To God be the glory for what we're all trying to do here. I wanted to get your guys' take on something that had happened to my wife a couple weeks ago, and it had to do with a couple of bank representatives, not looking like bank representatives, coming to our house and asking us for donations for bailing out the bank so that they can create new jobs.
It's probably just total con artist. Probably, I mean, the con artist behavior, crime of all sorts is just exploding.
Well, no, but check this out, though. This is what was really bizarre, according to my wife, was she said that once she explained her situation, which was that she was against what the government, the NWO, and what the banks were doing with this country, her total demeanor changed. She got really defensive, really scared. She had a clipboard of a bunch of names, but what she did with our particular situation was she flipped over the clipboard and she had a column of 3 different columns, and she put us in one of these brackets, and my wife didn't get a chance to see what it was about, but she said just the entire situation.
Well, Josh, let me just say this. The Federal Reserve has always hired professors and the local Kiwanis Club and the Masons and all these groups to go promote what they're doing. They admit they've hired hundreds of thousands now to go out and basically brainwash and go to public schools and explain to kids the grass grows because of Ben Bernanke. The sun shines because of Goldman Sachs. No bald-headed man in a suit can do you wrong. George, you want to comment on this? I appreciate your call, Josh.
Well, first of all, don't let people into your house like that. And secondly, there have always been pirates. There's cons everywhere. And we have to have the internal strength and the determination to say no to this stuff. And as time goes on, there's going to be more and more and more scams. And we have to be more and more discerning.
Yeah, I don't answer my door. I mean, I've got glass, you know, they're on the side of my door where I can look out. And I walk up and I say, "Hi, what do you need?" And if they start saying, I just walk away. I don't even respond. And then a few times they keep dinging the doorbell when I walk. I mean, and that's why it's good to have at least a screen door or burglar bars. But now they're passing laws all over where you can't have them because the government criminals don't want you to protect yourself, and they're looking out for their low-level criminals. But just tell somebody, get off my porch.
Yeah, and so just taking care of your property, and it still is your property, and just realize that there's 39 million people on food stamps, and that there are 30 million illegals in this country, and there's an incredible number of people who are hungry and scamming in every single way. So, just be aware and just say no and take care of yourself.
Exactly. Here's another example. See, having you go through checkpoints, body scanners, ask questions, TSA admits that was training for the streets. Now they're going to have federal teams doing it. That's the same thing with the census asking, do you own guns? What's your toilet? Do you have stocks and bonds? I mean, everybody doesn't get that, but some families do. Well, here it is. Volunteer census worker charged with burglary and rape in Indiana. Here's another one. Houston Police Department, man killed in home invasion after suspect poses a census worker. Don't answer the door, folks. You know what? We're just going to have economist, former Austin City Council member, author, filmmaker, George Humphrey with us for the rest of the hour talking about the economy. We appreciate him spending so much time with us. We're going to have open phones. I'm going to get into some separate subjects before he leaves, like all these speeches by the illegal alien supporters, saying whites are evil, let's attack America, we're for communism, and how the big banks are also funding that, so we're all at each other's throats. Having massive division, how the globalists want open borders. So that's coming up. But right now, let's go to Laura in New York. Laura, you're on the air.
Hello, Alex. First, I'd like to say I just love you. You are such an angel. You're a true godsend. And I'd like to say, well, about me, I'm a first-generation Latina, and I'm a professional. I'm in the real estate business, and it's in New York. So I know a lot about what's going on with the Latino immigrants in the community. So I'd like to share that with you.
Well, it's funny that I brought that subject up right now, not knowing you were about to bring that up, but I did a whole show for those that just joined us yesterday about I've protested the Klan many times in Austin and Waco and San Antonio. I'm against that group. And then I see it so acceptable now, and Robert Rodriguez, who I've met and I'm a fan of, putting this new film out, Machete, that implies whites are basically racist, and there's a big Mexican uprising, and I've talked to Hispanics that say that more and more of the, especially Mexican immigrants, are trying to pressure Mexican Americans. Kids can't wear, including Hispanics, on Cinco de Mayo, American flag shirts. It's so upsetting to these groups. How was this instilled in them? So, please give us a report on what you witnessed.
Okay, what I'm seeing is that there are a lot of Arizona Mexican immigrants moving into the community, so they're moving into New York, especially Queens, New York. And for the most part, they are enslaved, and they are not able to enjoy life fully. And what they do is they raise money and send it to their families back wherever they're from, mostly Mexicans, is what I'm referring to.
Yes.
And I don't see them to have so much hate in their heart as that movie portrays.
I agree with you. And I mean, I took nothing but calls from Hispanics yesterday, and every one of them said what you're saying. So this is, it looks like it's the media magnifying this to create this illusion. Why do you think they're doing that?
I believe it's all political. It's to bring down the country and divide us in three parts, to hurt, people like me who are American, Latin Americans, first generation, very proud of our history, and I don't agree with that movie at all. As a matter of fact, culturally, Mexicans don't even carry machetes, especially the ones moving in here. Most of them are from, like, Mexico City and beach communities in Mexico.